Name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Robert Penta. Former member of this august body, 0 Summit Road, Medford, Mass. I'd like to go over some points that were brought up. Unfortunately, the whole meeting wasn't televised, but it was probably a misreading on your part, Mr. President. It's not a 3,500 square foot building. It's a 35,000 square foot building. That's number one. Number two, in the report, it states it's going to be 3 stories. And our good friend, the city solicitor, has been quoted by saying that the mayor said she has decided where the building is going to go. The sad part about this whole commentary is the mayor is proposing in excess of a $22.5 million, and we don't even know what the contingencies might be, proposal here for the city of Medford. This present city council, this will be the largest financial bonding that you folks are going to be doing. And because of that, I agree with Council Marks, the mayor should be here tonight. This is her proposal. Because when she announced when she was campaigning, it would be 7 to 8 years. How it got sped up to this point, I don't know. But thankfully, because of the police department going out there and having their demonstrations and speaking up and folks coming forward saying it's about time. But there are some issues. Councilor Longo-Kern is correct. You don't have any report in front of you that talks about dates, places, people that you met with, whoever it might be. And if some of the landowners that were supposed to have met with the city did not want their names mentioned, you could go into an executive session, and that would protect it. At least you would have an idea who they were, where the locations might have been. There wasn't one police union representative on this committee. So what does that tell you there? Where was their involvement on this particular location for whatever it might be? The other part about it is the city council, you folks had no involvement at all. You're hearing about it for the first time last week, and at 10 o'clock last week, you get a phone call or an email saying there's a press announcement the next day. That's great for transparency. This administration was going to be so transparent. It's about as transparent as this rug on the floor. More importantly, going forward, the fire chief not being involved, not even being consulted. I can't answer for the chief of police, because I did speak with him last Tuesday night at the council meeting, and there was going to be an announcement the next day. Whether he knew what the announcement was or not, I don't know. We didn't get to the finality of it. But if the fire department, like they are here tonight, have a particular purpose to this thing, then it should be brought into play. Now let's talk about the bonding, because if you get into the Dunn and Sweeney report, which is dated January 2013, as Councilor Marks has alluded to, there is a funding mechanism here that needs to be addressed. And the funding mechanism that needs to be addressed is that if you leave that fire department alone the way it is right now and just go with a police department, you have a bonding situation for which this city council is going to be paying for whatever the rate's going to be to bond the police station. But over the next 20 years in the life of the bond, that Medford Fire Department and its headquarters are not going to be up to code. Mechanically, electrically, and whatever else is needed by the standards as we go further in time. So to take into consideration the possibility of having a police and a fire department put together, or mixing the two together, how these two buildings can merge themselves together, how you can add or subtract to it, that should be the discussion. Before you say, the police department, that's it. Isn't it best to sit down and discuss these things rather than she made the decision? Who was she to make the decision with the taxpayers' money, and then she puts you guys in a corner and girls in a corner? Boxing you in like a rubber stamp. If you don't vote for it, that means you're against it. That's not true. What's true is you should be a part of it. We're all part of this. Whether we're a taxpaying citizen, an elected official, the mayor, whoever we're be. But more importantly, you have fire and police out here. And to some degree, they are divided. Because you know something? The fire department is starting to realize things that they need. Just because there's a $2,500,000 inclusion in the capital improvement program, what does that say? Where is that going? How does that affect them on their side of the building? You just gave over $300,000 a few weeks ago for their turnout gear, but they've only got one set of washing machines. 6, 3, and 2, if I understand, those bond houses, 6, 3, and 2, would like to have washing machines that are very expensive. Well, why wasn't that brought up as a subject matter? Is that going to be something that's going to be a challenge? Well, I would hope not. You pay for one thing, but you don't pay for another. Another thing is there is absolutely no detailed analysis. The city treasurer is here. She has not presented, neither has the mayor presented you a detailed analysis of bonds that are going to be terminating And by those bonds terminating, the city can just transfer themselves over to paying the same amount that those bonds were paying that would pay for this project. I want to see that. As a taxpayer and as an elected official, you need to see that. Because is the city saying your taxes won't go up? Your rates won't go up because of this? And where is all the where is all the grants from the federal government and the state? The city of Malden got $9 million in grants before they started their project to build an $18 million building. Where is the one grant from the federal government or the Commonwealth of Mass here? Has anyone received one? Have you become aware of it? You don't even know if they've even applied for it. It would have been nice to know that if you had a sense of conversation. And if you, Mr. President, being the leader of this body, had the mayor invited you in, at least at minimum, to have a conversation about this, you could at least bring some information back. But she shut you out too, which is wrong. You can't do it by yourself, your own way. You know, you get elected to do a job. You talk about being transparent. You talk about being independent voices. How can you be an independent voice if you're shut out? If you're not part of the situation, you're not part of the process. You know, we spent $110,000 for a Denham and Sweeney report in January of 2013 that was presented to the council in 2014. You had a committee of the whole meeting where there were a lot of issues that were brought up. And I don't think any one fireman or any one policewoman or lady, policeman or lady, excuse me, or a fire lady and a fireman, I don't think they want to see any division between it amongst themselves, because I certainly don't want it. And I don't think the city needs it. But this is crunch time right now. You're talking about a subject matter that's now involving both fire and police. And unless the city administration says that the fire department is not going to be involved in this, this is just a police issue, a police building issue, and a police department issue, then I think you have a problem, because the problem is now presenting itself before you. The report talks about a merger of the buildings. It talks about the irregular space that you have over there. It also talks about having a minimum of 3.5 acres to have a modern, up-to-date fire and police department that can take you into the next generation. You're only dealing with more than 2.5 acres of land. So your space requirements are already confined. And to build a 3.5-story building, who made that determination? Where's the parking facility going to go? And if you're going to have a schematic design, you talk about something that's going to take place over the 6 to 8 months. 6 to 8 months are going to prove to be what? You're going to go out there for a design. But to get to the 6 to 8 months, you guys have to make a decision. You're going to have to agree and disagree on things. And you're going to have to move forward. And you're going to have people input. Your input. Taxpayers' input. It's their money. It's the taxpayers' money. And I can guarantee that every single police officer and every single fire person can come up to this podium and say that they need what they need to do their job. They should not be denied, but they should have the option of knowing that every conceivable option was presented and discussed and voted upon. It wasn't squirreled into a particular corner for a particular group on a particular day, and then we'll talk about the next issue on another day. The stupidest way to waste money is to spend it recklessly. And right now, I think you would be doing that before you sit down and take into consideration all the needs that are out there. Why would the capital improvement program have a $2.5 million inclusion for the fire department without you folks knowing about it, but you're dealing with the $2 million requirement to go out there and have a schematic design, and then a $20 million to build a building, and how do you know if that building, in fact, is going to have any effect at all on the fire department or vice versa? You don't know. You know, we live in a great city. We have a great group of people in here, and we all want to do the right thing, the best thing for our community. But we need to be smart, and we need to be inclusive, and we need to be understanding that we all can't think the same way. But if you can't think the same way without having an opportunity to talk about it, you'll never be able to accomplish anything. Today is Valentine's Day, and I wish you all a happy Valentine's Day. But with the white Christmas lights outside, I'm a little bit confused, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.